Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I have to give all the praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Ruka HaKadash. I like to say double honors and respect to my apostles and elders, a great millstone, who rule well and taught us His truth. Much love, peace, and salutations to the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect, and the 1/3. This is Brother Salah. Alright, in today's video, we're going to be covering the meeting with Caesar Nero 47 and President Xi of China, I would like to open up with the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 16. It says here, "Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also. Let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory." And yes, I'm another major part of that shameful spewing, aside from all the recent events of Esau getting exposed, basically, right, the Lord's basically Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is embarrassing these damn devils on a world stage right now, because here you have DJT 47 and Nero, this motley crew of oligarchs, right, basically begging Moab, China, Xi Jinping, to basically buy their products, to keep Babylon going or whatever, right? But we're at the end of Babylon's kingdom, man. This is the fall of Esau, Edom, man, as the scripture says, man, and you're witnessing them, basically getting shamed on the world stage. Begging them, oh, please buy our Boeing planes, buy our soybeans, buy our freaking our chips, or microprocessing chips, or whatever, and basically Xi and China or Moab saying not nigga, we don't want your shit, man, and which ultimately, right, this is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai orchestrating the collapse of Esau society, and no, there is not going to be no Chinese or Moab century, man, because the scriptures clearly says, man, Esau is the end of the world, Jacob is the beginning of that followeth, man. 2 Ezra chapter 6 verse 9. Right, there will be no heathen empire after Esau, man. Is going to be the kingdom of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man, Yasharallah. So before we play this video clip, we're going to get the copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer to Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use, for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Alright, so we're going to play the video.
At the state banquet and throughout his talks, President Trump was accompanied by an entourage of cabinet officials, but more importantly by 17 top American CEOs, including Nvidia's Jensen Huang, Apple's Tim Cook, and the ubiquitous Elon Musk, along with, once again for inexplicable reasons, his 6-year-old son. Nowhere to be found in the US delegation were any American officials steeped in Chinese history nor policy. Not a single one of them made the cut. A staggering choice, given the stakes.
17 top American CEOs, Jensen Huang, Tim Cook, Elon Musk, and for some reason his 6-year-old son. You know who wasn't on that plane? A single China policy expert. Not one diplomat with deep knowledge of Beijing's strategic priorities. Well, maybe they don't exist in Washington. Instead, they brought the guy who makes iPhones in China to beg China to keep making iPhones. They brought the guy who sells Teslas to beg China not to destroy Tesla with BYD. This isn't a diplomatic mission, it's a corporate rescue operation wrapped in a family vacation.
I'm very pleased to meet you in Beijing. Welcome back to China after 9 years.
President Xi, speaking through an interpreter, made it clear from the beginning that he understood the gravity of the moment.
Currently, transformation not seen in a century is accelerating across the globe, and the international situation is fluid and turbulent. The world has come to a new crossroads. Can China and the United States overcome the Thucydides trap and create a new paradigm of major country relations?
Now, I think it is a fair bet that the American president has never heard of the Thucydides trap and might have wondered if it's a new kind of mouse catcher that the Chinese are hoping to bring to the American market. In fact, rooted in the writings of the ancient Greek historian, it refers to the risk of war between an emerging major power and the established country that it is supplanting.
Okay, let's pause here for a second. Xi Jinping just referenced the ancient Greek historian Thucydides at a state meeting with the President of the United States. He's referencing a concept from 2,400 years ago about what happens when a rising power displaces an established one, and he's applying it directly to this moment in history. He is telling Trump to his face that China is the rising power and America is the one being supplanted. That is Xi Jinping looking Trump dead in the eyes and saying, "We are replacing you." And Simon is absolutely right. There is a near zero chance Donald Trump has ever heard of the Thucydides trap. Or what's more likely, Trump heard Thucydides trap and he thought it was the name of Epstein's private island. But I digress. The leader of the world's most powerful military just sat there while the leader of the world's largest economy delivered a geopolitical lecture he almost certainly did not understand. Now let's see what Trump said back. And trust me, this is gonna hurt.
Alright, we're just going to pause right there for a bit. We're going to get the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 1. It says there, "Woe be unto thee, Babylon, and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria," right? And basically it's saying destruction onto Babylon the Great, aka America, and Asia, referring to the land of Moab, or not talking the land of Moab, referring to China, man, because why, man? Moab thinks he's going to be the next one in rulership when we know all kingdoms are going to be what they're going to be taken down once Yahushua returns, right? That's why the scripture says, Yahushua had many crowns upon his head. Let's get that real quick. See. Yeah, right here. This is speaking of Yahushua, Revelation chapter 19, starting at verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire, his head, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name was called the Word of God. And as I would know, it's Yahushua, man, because when the Lord comes back, he's going to take down all nations and kingdoms, right? Right, and only the kingdom of Israel, Yasharallah, is going to be the one set up on top, right? So there again, man, Esau's not going to come back. There's going to be no freaking 1,000 years where Gog and Magog's going to come back. That's madness, right? Once Esau goes down, he's going to go down. He's going to stay down, and so will the rest of these nations, right? China's not going to rise up. India's not going to rise up. Japan's not going to rise up, man. Ham's not going to rise up. Japhet, like none of these nations, right? They're all going to be under subjection, under the authority of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. Under the house of David, the 144,000, the Bayath Daladah, man. And Israel is going to be on top forever, man. The elected are going to be made perfect. Pertaining to Jeremiah, verse 31. Chapter 31, verse 31 on down, where they're going to get those new spiritual bodies, where the laws get written in their inward part. And we're going to be connected to our power once again, man. And these nations, they're going to be under these complete subjection. The first 1,000 years are going to be that hardcore bondage. And then after that, they get to go back to their homeland. While the nation of Esau, pertaining to the book of Obadiah, they're going to get burnt up, and ultimately, forgotten, man. So, all right, so back to the video.
Right from the get-go, in other words, President Xi demonstrated he thinks America is in decline and this will be China's century. And what he heard back from President Trump when it was the US leader's turn to speak will only have emboldened him in that conviction. Here, at length, President Trump's predictable pablum during his opening remarks.
Well, President Xi, I want to thank you very much. First of all, that was an honor like few have ever seen before. You and I have known each other now for a long time. In fact, the longest relationship of our two countries that any president and president has had. And that's, to me, an honor. We've had a fantastic relationship. We've gotten along. When there were difficulties, we worked it out. You're a great leader. I say it to everybody. You're a great leader. Sometimes people don't like me saying it, but I say it anyway because it's true. I only say the truth. And there are those that say this is maybe the biggest summit ever. They can never remember anything like it. It's, I can say in the United States, it's people aren't talking about anything else. But it's an honor to be with you. It's an honor to be your friend. And the relationship between China and the USA is going to be better than ever before. Thank you very much.
At the end of that, the Chinese pull video shows President Xi's reaction, smiling like the cat who stole the cream. A glance at his colleagues suggested he realised the US leader had simply come to prostrate himself before the Chinese leadership and beg for business deals.
I guess you could say this is the geopolitical equivalent of a high school student trying to have a conversation with a university professor. She basically referenced an ancient Greek historian and framed this as a civilizational crossroads. And what does a leader of the free world say back? You're a great leader. I say it anyway. He sounds like a toddler trying to get a sticker from his teacher. He's bragging about TV ratings. People say this is gonna be the biggest summit ever. People aren't talking about anything else in the United States. Taco, half of America doesn't know where Beijing is on a map. She just watched the leader of the United States prostrate himself and beg for business deals.
Say about him that if you went to Hollywood and you looked for a leader of China to play a role in a movie,
Central casting.
he's central casting. You couldn't find a guy like him. Even his physical features, he's tall, very tall, and especially for this country, because they tend to be a little bit shorter. You look at the military, the military today was incredible. That military marching was incredible. But no, if you went to Hollywood, you're not going to find a guy to play the role. He's good.
Just listen to this guy. For all his tough talk, listen to him glaze about Xi Jinping. He is openly, shamelessly, embarrassingly flattering a man who just told him China is replacing America. This is what desperation looks like. This is what it looks like when you show up to a negotiation with nothing to offer and hope that compliments will do the job. But here's the thing, it's not only Xi Jinping looking at Trump and realizing immediately that America is in terminal decline. The whole world can see it.
But what about the $14 billion in US weapons sales to Taiwan that Congress approved?
All right, I'm just gonna stop right there. So let's get the book of Nahum, chapter 3, verse 5, right? Nineveh's complete ruin, but really this was prophesying, Babylon the Great, aka America's downfall, right? It says here, "Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashimel Shai of hosts, Sabaoth, meaning his armies. I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will shew the nations thy nakedness, and thy kingdoms thy shame," right? So let's get another translation of this, right? This is the voice translation. And it says here, Nineveh is laid waste as God watches. It says here, the Eternal One on look at me and my armies. I stand against you, Nineveh. I will treat you like the harlot you are, right? And again, this could also this applies to Babylon the Great, America, right? Lifting up your dress over your face, peeling back your outward facade, right? They see Nero, kissing up to Moab. Glazing him and hopes that they'll keep doing business with them, but no, man, this is it for Babylon, right? The only thing that's left is what, man? Shit hitting the fan. People losing their minds. People are already losing their minds because of the high prices right now, and it's only getting worse. And what's gonna be after that, right? That the MOTB, that Karagma, right? But before that, the prophets, that us and the truth, we're gonna get persecuted. A lot of people are gonna get persecuted, right? With this coming violence, and in fact, this violence is gonna in fact come to the whole world, because why, man? Supply chains are being broken down, right? America can't. Babylon the Great can't come to a trade agreement. With the straits being shut off, man. man, and the global supply chain is in decline, and and once the fuel basically, and then this is all artificial too, but again, we know the Lord's causing all this, once the fuel shortages, the storehouses, once all that becomes empty, that's when you're gonna see that mass chaos, right? And then eventually, what are they gonna do? They're gonna introduce the chip, the chip, the RFID micro chip, that Quran as the solution, right? And that's basically gonna be it for Babylon the Great, man. So they also jumping back to the translation, uh, and and exposing your true condition, your nakedness underneath. You will be humiliated and ashamed in front of the whole world, and that's what's happening right now, man. Basically, when Nero DJT, man, 47 came back with it with his fucking all oligarchs, right? His motley crew. Look up what the definition the definition of what motley means, right? He basically came back empty-handed, right? Metaphorically speaking, he was on his knees, begging China, oh please, please, buy our stuff, and Xi Jinping's like, nah, fuck you, nigga, I'm gonna be next, but he's also wrong. It's not him, man. America, Babylon the Great, and China, they both gonna be taken down once Yahushua returns, right? All right, this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15, and we're gonna start at verse 46. Right? And it says here, and thou Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her. Right, and what do you see China right now, man? You see them with all their high tech advanced cities, far surpassing America, right? They basically become like like Babylon, hell, in some ways better than Babylon, right? Because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that thou might please and glory in thy lovers, right? They think they're gonna be the next ones in rulership, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all of her works and inventions. Therefore saith God, Yahweh, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. The heat shall arise that is set over thee. Thou shalt be weakened and as thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive thee. I with jealousy have proceeded against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, right? Right, so the land of Moab, China is gonna be destroyed as well, man. In this coming third woe, man. They're gonna release the MOTB, and once the MOTB gets released, right, that's when the Lord's gonna put the spirit on all these nations to fire nukes at each other. Because why? They basically had it with each other, man. They're, they're basically giving each other the middle finger. They're saying fuck you to each other, man. And that's when Yahweh Shem Shai is gonna come is gonna come down, crack the skies with the fathership, covering the entire sky, talking about the day of the Lord being darkened, beam up his elect, and put down the rest of these fucking nations, right? Right, Obadiah chapter 1 verse 6. How are the things that Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. Right, and that's what we're seeing right now. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Right. And basically, man, that's basically America in decline right now, right? That wound laid underneath them, right? and of course, it's them doing it to themselves because we're at the end of their kingdom. But this just goes to show you that that after the Babylon has raped, robbed, pillaged, bombed these other nations. Now what are they doing now? They're begging for help, and now these other nations are just basically giving the finger, saying, fuck off. We basically gonna do whatever we want. There's nothing they can do about that. So what are they gonna do? So what's left? The collapse of this current system and the ushering in of what the MOTB. And once that happens, that's when Esau's ultimately gonna get taken down, right? So with that, we're gonna end off this lesson right here. Hope this lesson's been edifying. To you, Akim and Akwath, and with that, I like to say, call Halayim La, Abanawa Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash, double honors and respect to my apostles and elders, great millstone, who well and taught us his truth. Much love, peace, and salutations to the Lord's elect, the whole collective 1/3, Jabal Salah, and with that, I like to say, Shalom.